Let me say good afternoon to everyone, and standing here today with County Judge Lina Hidalgo and of course Adrian Garcia, County Commissioner of Precinct 2, and then City Councilman Robert Gallegos, and this is in his area, right in this area. Of course, the mayor from yes, thank you. And then Sheriff Gonzalez, Police Chief Acevedo, and Fire Chief Pena, along with several others. Let me just provide an update as to where we are and how we got here. This morning we had a private contractor, Harper Brothers, that was doing some repair work on the line that's in question. And just before they got to the major portion where it was a gradual leak that was occurring in this 96-inch pipeline, main line, just before they got to it, the main line burst, and it's a major line, 96 inches. In fact, from the Northeast Water Purification Plant provides about 40 to 50% of the water in the Houston area. So this was a major break, and as you can see, it produced a lot of water, and it is still producing a lot of water. I can tell you that the line has been isolated on both ends. So the line has been isolated on both ends, but until it fully drains, because it pulls water from all over, and so until it fully drains, it will continue to spew out water, although at a diminishing rate. We're going to be doing everything we can and working even with TxDOT in order to pump up that water. Okay, but for right now, until the line drains, it will continue to produce water. We're watching the homes right along Clinton Drive, because for those of you who've seen the area, the water is kind of getting close in people's yards. And so we want to watch it very carefully. And so I've instructed Public Works, for example, to bring some things out to try to help to secure people's homes, to keep the water from entering their homes. The water pressure has been low since this line erupted, and the water pressure, I suspect, will continue to be low over the next several hours. Now, in some places, the water pressure may start to rise a little bit, but for all practical purposes, let's just say that the water pressure will continue to be low for the next several hours. That includes the downtown area, can also go into the medical center area. For example, the municipal court has been affected, and we've ceased operations at municipal courts for the rest of the day. So the water pressure for the next several hours will continue to be low. For any food establishment in the city of Houston where food is being served and you don't have water, they must immediately cease operations. So if you're a food establishment and if you don't have water, it's one thing to have low pressure, but if you don't have water, then you have to immediately cease. And because the pressure pretty much throughout our large portion of the city of Houston area dropped so low, just based on Texas Commission on Environmental Qualities, their regulatory policies, I anticipate that you will probably have to boil water in the city of Houston for the next 24 hours if you're part of the Houston's water system. Now, that does not include Kingwood, for example, or Clear Lake. But for the rest of the city of Houston, for the next 24 hours, for precautionary purposes and based on regulatory policies, I anticipate them issuing an order saying that people in the city of Houston on the main water source will have to boil water for the next 24 hours. But our goal is to move as quickly as possible, and I've instructed Public Works to take all necessary steps in order to isolate the break, to shut it off, to drain the lines, and to make the repairs, and to do it as quickly as possible. Now, I anticipate to do all of that will take about 6 to 8 hours because it is a main break. So I would just say to people, anticipate having to kind of experience low pressure for about 6 to 8 hours, even though within that 6 to 8 hours in some places the pressure may start to rise again. but this is just from a general perspective about 6 to 8 hours. So that's pretty much where we are. I do want to thank TxDOT for their support, especially in pumping water. I want to thank the first responders, firefighters, our police officers for responding very, very quickly. Chief Acevedo would be able to tell you there were probably about 12 vehicles that were trapped in water on 610, right at 610 and Clinton. No injuries at all were reported. So that's a good thing. So let me, if you can hold for 1 second, let's kind of go through this. So let me stop right now. I think that covered everything that I wanted to kind of lay out. And the other thing is that over the course of the next several hours, let me just ask people to conserve water, so to maintain the pressure as much as possible. So let me just encourage you to do that. But I just simply want to assure people it was a main water break, 96 inches this morning. Pressure is low. Will remain low for the next several hours, and people are working feverishly to get things restored as quickly as possible. And even though the break has been shut off on both ends, it is going to take some time to drain the water out of the lines, and it's going to take about 6 to 8 hours to get the work fully done. Okay, County Judge Lina Hidalgo. Oh, I'm sorry, and Councilmember Jerry Davis is also present. Thanks. Judge.
Thank you so much, Mayor. So for this incident, Harris County has activated to a level 3. We are supporting the city of Houston in this incident with anything that they ask of us. What we're doing right now, of course, the mayor went over the situation. Sheriff Gonzalez has been supporting the traffic side of things. Our court complex downtown and the downtown county buildings, we are reducing to essential personnel since we have low water pressure. That's a fire issue, right, for the sprinkler system. We are taking care of the folks at the jail, making sure that they're taken care of. The children in the juvenile detention facility downtown are being moved to the BBRC facility at Chimney Rock. We are working with CMOC, the network of hospitals. They are all in close touch with our Office of Emergency Management over at TransStar. We've heard reports that water pressure is down in our hospital system, our medical center. Right now they've got backup contingency water systems, but we're ready to help coordinate and support wherever possible. Our Harris County Toll Road Authority is also waiving tolls from 59 North to 45 East to make sure that folks can get home if they need to. Fundamentally, I know it's tough to hear about the roadways being flooded when there's no water coming from the sky, and of course the challenges with our water supply. But I think it's important to note all of the public officials that are here working for you, for the community. Mayor and I are working very closely together, and as the city and the county work on putting together a map with who all receives water from this plant and who all needs to be impacted by the boiling water advisory, we'll make sure and share that as well, because of course there are folks who are part of the county who receive water from this plant. Because of the water pressure, when the water pressure gets lower, it's more likely for bacteria to form, and so it's important to have that boiled water advisory. I'll repeat my remarks in Spanish as well. ¿Listos? Bueno, el alcalde ha explicado la situación que se ha explotado esta tubería de 96 pulgadas y pues es difícil ver inundaciones en las calles cuando no está cayendo agua del cielo. También saber la preocupación pues de la gente que no tiene agua en este momento, pero el condado está trabajando muy cercamente con la ciudad para apoyarlos en cualquier cosa que ellos necesiten. Nuestra oficina de manejo de emergencia está activada a nivel 3 en TransStar. Estamos coordinando con el sistema hospitalario. Sabemos que el centro médico está enfrentando bajas presiones, tienen tienen sistemas para poder manejar ese tipo de situación, pero estamos trabajando con ellos, coordinando si fuera necesario cualquier apoyo. También hemos cerrado el complejo de cortes en el área del downtown. La presión del agua ha bajado, entonces eso es peligroso. Si hubiera haber un incendio, no podríamos utilizar el agua. Estamos cuidando a las personas en la cárcel, a los niños en el centro de detención en el downtown, los están moviendo al centro BBRC en Chimney Rock. Nuestro centro del Toll Road, si tienen también todas esas carreteras, no estamos cobrando en este momento el peaje de la 59 norte a la 45 al este. Seguiremos observando la situación. La recomendación es que todos pues conserven el agua por este tiempo. En cuanto a la ciudad y el condado tengan la idea clara de qué áreas reciben el agua de esta planta, ofreceremos un mapa al público donde podrán ver quiénes y cuáles partes de la ciudad tienen que hervir el agua antes de tomarla. Pero en este momento quiero que todos vean pues que están todos estos oficiales trabajando juntos para proteger a la comunidad y para resolver esta situación de inmediato.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Let me now ask Jeff Weatherford from the Houston Public Works Department to come up and supplement the comments that I had to make. Jeff.
Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor mentioned, we did have the water main break. I won't go into the details on that. That it will basically take about 6 hours for the system to drain itself, and then we'll be able to begin working on the repair. People do have water now. The water pressure is coming back up through the system. Houston's water supply is safe. We do, in order to meet the requirements of the Texas Environmental Quality Act, have to issue the boil water order, but our system, the water is safe in the system.
And that's the main thing that I want to make. Based on the regulatory requirements, we have to issue the order, but the water is safe, and we'll continue to work on it. Chief Pena, Chief Acevedo.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So from the fire department's perspective, we have fire crews deployed throughout these neighborhoods. We've cleared the Pleasantville area of homes. Our firefighters have checked about 40 homes. Mainly street level flooding is what they've experienced. There were some vehicles trapped on the loop, about 12 to 15 vehicles, and our firefighters were able to pluck out about 3 people from that area. In regards to the, so again, we have units out there. We have high water vehicles. We have boats ready to deploy. From the fire risk perspective, we're considering everything inside the Beltway a concern, other than the far west, Kingwood and Clear Lake, as the mayor mentioned. And our concern is the water pressure in the hydrants for fire risk. So I want to thank our partners in the county. We've reached out to them. They've assisted us with pre-deployment of at least 6 tankers of water that we have deployed strategically throughout, or we will have, just in preparation for anything that may come up. So we want to urge everybody just to be fire safe, right, at this moment. And we have enough resources out here available to be able to deploy. In addition to our normal deployment, we are considering the fact that we may have to bring in more trucks in case there is a fire. So again, want to urge the public to please be fire safe. This is going to continue on for at least 6 to 8 hours. So in the meantime, know that we have the resources. We've reached out to our partners in the county, and we feel that we are taking the proper steps in preparation for anything that may come up. Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. At 12:15, the call came in to the Houston Police Department, and we immediately responded. What's important from the police department's perspective is that we will have high water rescue vehicles out here as long as the flooding continues on the streets. And the other piece for the community that cannot access their homes, do not worry about your homes. We have police officers patrolling the impacted neighborhoods. They will remain there until we restore access to the homeowners. And so to any criminal element that thinks they're going to be able to come in here and victimize members of our community, it's not going to happen. We have officers in the area. We have airships in the air. And we also have the the UAVs from our firefighters that are being used to keep the community safe. And so I want to thank personally Sheriff Gonzalez and his team for coming out here right away. And as usual, we all work together to restore order. But the community is safe. Y en español, bien rápido, el Departamento de la Policía inmediatamente como a las 12:15 p.m. recibimos ya llamada a nuestros colegas de los bomberos, también el sheriff y sus colegas, y llegaron a la escena. Hubieron como 12 personas que fueron rescatadas, 3 rescatados y 12 vehículos que están aquí hundidos en el 610 Freeway. Pero lo más importante es para la comunidad que está afectada, que sabe que no pueden ir a su casa, no tenga miedo, no tenga temor. Tenemos muchos oficiales en esta área protegiendo su propiedad, así que no tenga temor. También vamos a tener vehículos de rescate que pueden rescatar a las personas si algo ocurre. Y más importante es al criminal. No venga a esta área, tenemos muchos oficiales en la tierra y también con helicópteros. Si lo vemos tratando de victimizar a uno de nuestros miembros de la comunidad, va a ir preso, así que no andan en esta área. And so lastly, for traffic, just remember the 610 freeway will be closed throughout the rush hour, so please plan ahead and try to avoid this area. Unless you need to be here, do not come to this area until this traffic is completely restored.
Thank you. Let me just say the support from the county. Judge Douglas just been great, and I know Commissioner Adrian Garcia in your area, so I want to bring you up. Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, County Judge. And Sheriff Gonzalez reached out to me immediately. This is in Precinct 2, neighboring with County Commissioner Rodney Ellis in Precinct 1. And I want to thank Mayor Moya for being here as well. We reached out to the area mayors immediately to assess any impact to them. Thankfully, there's not. But I have pledged my resources to the City of Houston, to Mayor Turner, to assist in providing support in the drainage system as quickly as possible. This will be the first line of defense in order to get the streets cleared and get some comfort to the community as quickly as possible. In addition, we are also working to contemplate the idea, if necessary, the possibility of a temporary shelter if it's needed for our senior citizens. So we'll be working with Commissioner Rodney Ellis on that as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Sheriff Ed Gonzalez has been a tremendous support. So, Sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you. This was a multi-agency response. I want to thank the fire department, police department. We were just out here to support. Ironically, I was here in Mayor Moya's area in Galena Park when it happened, so I was here pretty quickly, and everybody just pulled together. It was a little bit chaotic in the beginning, as you could imagine, but we always pull together and we'll get through this. So just make sure you're following the instructions provided by the mayor and judge and others about the boiling of the water and other impacted areas.
Thank you. Certainly want to acknowledge Commissioner Rodney Ellis for also being out here.